We don't have a script to follow.
Or big-time endorsements.
We're not professional hunters.
No such thing in this country.
We are professional outfitters.
Trust me, that's as close as it gets.
We got lots of hunters each season.
We put them on deer.
And I mean good deer.
We're deer thugs.
Mossy Oaks Deer Thugs is presented by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart.
Section 1, question 7.
What defines a trophy for you?
And that's a tough question. I don't like to throw the numbers out there. I don't like to throw the score out there.
Justin Akins, Canadian River Hilton.
There's so many different characteristics that define a trophy. If I had to throw a number out there, you know, I'd say 150, but I don't like to use a number. I mean, I've killed bucks that was a lot less than that, and I found them early when I was scouting, and they had those characteristics. You know, maybe he was really wide, maybe he had some trash that I liked, and so I really liked that buck, and I tried to pinpoint him, pin him down, and go hunt him. But if I've got to pick that magic number, I guess I would probably go with 150 plus. I get a lot out of hunting anywhere. It's especially special hunting here at my own place. You know, this isn't only my business and my livelihood out here, but this ranch is where I grew up. I grew up running up and down these canyons and creeks and playing as a young child, and I just probably enjoy and get more out of hunting this place than I do any other place in the country.
We're here in western Oklahoma, Canadian River Hilton hunting lot. It's about middle of October, early bow season, and get a little south wind today. Supposed to get up to mid-80s. Got a pretty bright moon. We got some pretty tough hunting conditions. Wind's supposed to shift down to north. The remainder of the hunt get down to 930s for a couple of nights. So maybe that'll get the activity picked up pretty good. Weather change is always good, so we'll see what happens.
First day is supposed to be 85 degrees. The moon is so bright that you can see your shadows just plain as day. We're not going to kill anything in camp. We're going to get out there, we're giving 110%. I know there's good deer in these areas. We just got to hope that they get to moving. That's why you got to put your time in. Just like I said, you know, if the wind's blowing, if the weather's nasty, as long as you got the wind in the right direction, get out there, go try it. Set in the rain, set in the snow. You may go out there on the most perfect conditions and nothing, but you're not going to kill it sitting in the house.
Mossy Oaks Deer Thugs is brought to you by Walmart, Ram Truck Brand, Quaker Boy, Lethal, Mossberg, and by Precision Shooting Equipment.
Section 1, question 7.
What defines a trophy for you?
A trophy to me is something that I want to hang in the living room.
Jimmy Riley, Giles Island.
A trophy to me is something I want to hang on the wall as long as he's an old deer. You know, I don't find it too hard to kill a 2 or 3 year old, you know, big rack deer. I mean, age means a lot to me when you're considering a trophy. But you know, I can put a score on it if you'd like me to. You know, for me, my standards with a bow for a bow kill is lower than with a gun, simply because it's much harder to kill a deer with a bow. You got to get him inside 40 yards. You got to make the draw. You got to make the shot. You know, there's a whole lot involved with bows. So my standard for a trophy is a little lower I'm gonna say 120 class. Old deer, 120 class with a bow. Old deer, 140 class with a gun.
I had a particular place that I've been watching a little bit, and it was very open, just flat sagebrush country, a draw between a bedding area and a wheat field. The only place I could find to put this ground blind was in a little plum thicket, just right out in the open. I had to have a north wind. When I seen this weather was supposed to be warm, I said, man, there's no way I'm not even gonna get to use it on this hunt. And the first evening of the hunt, I walked outside and boom, it had shifted right before we went to stand. So I changed plans right quick, headed to that spot. I was all excited, got in there, pulled my card out of my trail camera, and I got in the blind early, went to looking at it, and sure enough, one of the mature bucks that I'd seen in there, he had been in that area at 1:15 that day. So I was excited knowing that he was there that close.
Well, I tell you what, it's hard to tell where these deer really come from. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if some of these aren't coming back. Bedding in some of these plum thickets. They can pop up anywhere right here around us. I don't care where they come from, just as long as they can pass in front of us.
You know, hunting can be such a humbling experience. You know, just as soon as you think you've got them all figured out and you know everything that's going to happen, I guarantee you they'll go out there and you will plumb get skunked. And sure enough, I wasn't there for 2 hours, and he got up and come back through.
Here comes some deer right there. He's doing a little buck. There's a shooter buck following him. That's that big white 8-point way out on the trail again.
Hey Blake, I've been shooting a Zero for about a year now, and it's so smooth, but still, it's so fast. You know, what's the design? What's the big deal about this bow that makes it so good?
Well, one thing, it's the technology and the materials and how we're treating materials that has really advanced so much. Every bow on the market is chasing this design, and it's because that preloaded limb design, not only does it give you a lot of speed, but it also works to cancel the vibration out. When you shoot the bow and those limbs extend back, they're not allowed to move forward, and they're under so much tension, they just stop all vibration. That gives us not only the speed, but it gives you the feel that you like. The technology that we have has allowed us to make the Omen, which is 366 feet per second. We use the same technology in an Evo, we just rounded it out a little bit. We made it a little smoother into the back wall, a little smoother draw cycle, and it really comes together to what I consider makes the ultimate hunting bow, and that's the Evo.
Well, it's the best bow out there. I mean, I've shot a lot of different bows, and this one right now is the best thing I've ever shot, and I love it, man.
We're proud of it, and I agree.
You need to be.
Here comes some deer right there. Shooter buck following him. That's that big white 8-point way out on the trail again. He's right there behind my trail camera. He'll come past that post. I got that camera on. I'll have a clear shot. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Down right there. Yeah. Let's go. Man. I tell you what, there ain't no sitting here 30 minutes and waiting on that one. I'm getting out of here and going checking him out. I've seen pictures of him, but I want to get my hands on him now.
And that was a great reward because I'd watched that buck, I'd scouted it, and I felt confident that if I got the wind right, it would work. And sure enough, first time I went in there, it paid off.
there. I love hunting this open country. People show up out here and are like, how are we gonna bow hunt this stuff? I said, just gotta know where they live and where they're going. Don't bother them, hunt it when it's right. And right here's what you get. First time I come in here after him and it has paid off. Man. Wow. Look at that, look at that. First evening, I smacked a good mature buck. I tell you what, it don't get any better than this. Man, I'm gonna go get the truck, load this thing up, head back to the lodge and check on Kevin. Man, who knows? The way things are going today, he may have killed another big buck. I'm gonna go find out.
Section 1.
Question 10.
Have you ever killed a good buck during a full moon?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Rapid Fire is brought to you by Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart. Mossy Oaks Deer Thugs is brought to you by Come Here, Deer. Charlie O Products. New Fletch. Scott Archery. Schwacker Broadheads. And by Mossy Oak Brand Camo.
1 and 7.
What defines a trophy for you?
Probably 170-inch deer is what I call trophy. I mean,
Charlie O'Brien, the Catch-22 Ranch.
yeah, the numbers you could put anywhere, but I love just encounters with deer. Something you have a relationship, a deer you've been hunting 3 or 4 years has always been a real challenge for me. So it's hard to say, but if you're looking at numbers wise, you know, the Boone and Crockett deer, 170-inch deer is a pretty awesome deer to be able to take.
White's little breast this morning, this first one we've had, dipped down in the 30s. Kind of feels like deer hunting. We've had a great hunt this week. Come out this morning, come do our part of the management, keeping things in balance. We've had to come out this morning and take a doe. If we don't stay on top of that, our buck-doe ratio will get out of line. We've spent a lot of years managing and trying to keep a good balance, a healthy herd. But it's not something that you get it where you need it to be and then just stop. You've got to stay on top of it every year.
Management is a big key to running a successful hunting operation, whether you have a lease or you got 160 acres or whether you do this for a living. Management is a critical part. You have to maintain that buck-doe ratio every year by harvesting does.
We got does coming in right over our shoulder right here.
And by doing that, it makes our buck hunting much better. The bucks have to compete more for those does during the rut. The mature bucks are much more active and we see more mature bucks. Years ago it was, you know, everybody said, you know, you can't shoot does. You shoot does, you won't have bucks. Every time you shoot a doe, you're taking this many bucks out.
If I get stood up here and get shot.
But that's not true. You will actually have more fawns by keeping that in balance.
There's your stood.
Call Thug with Chris Kirby.
Chris, does rattling work on big mature bucks?
It does, and I think every deer hunter knows as a deer gets older and older, he gets smarter and smarter and harder to kill. But I still think during that fall sequence, when that peak rut happens, there are days that that buck is going to be on his feet during daylight and he's going to make some mistakes. And I think on older bucks like that, you know, a snort wheeze combined with, you know, rattling it's creating a very aggressive illusion. And as deer get older and older, they're smarter, but they're also a lot more aggressive. So those bigger bucks will come in to those more aggressive sounds than say a spike or a 1.5-year-old buck like that. So without question, the older, more mature deer, I think, respond better to rattling, snort, wheezes.
You know, I've seen the same scenario in western Oklahoma. The bigger bucks have better response with a more aggressive type calling. The more aggressive calling might tend to spook some of the smaller, more immature bucks that have been whipped off, but the big mature buck that runs that area, he's still going to come check it out.
No doubt about it.
Call Thug, brought to you by Deer Thug Calls, powered by Quaker Boy.
Doe hunting can be just as much fun as buck hunting. When I leave the house, if my goal is to go take some does for management or whatever, I get just excited. I see that doe out there and I'm grabbing my bow and I get shakes because that's what I've come to do.
There she's dead.
It's a great sport. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy taking my daughter, my nephews, my niece. It's great to take the kids out and they get lots of action. There's not as much pressure on them.
That's fun. That's fun.
They get out there, they take that first doe, they get all that excitement. Then, boy, when they finally do get to harvest a buck, they're that much more excited. There she is right there. Did the trick.
Man. Tell you what, that's a
Prime example of the type of deer you have when you do your part of the management. This is a good, healthy deer. You can see right here the deer that we harvested this week, and that's what you want to maintain. If you don't do your part of the management, you'll lose that edge, and your deer won't be as healthy as well. Tell you what, I think we're gonna hook this pocket drag on her and get her over here closer to where we can get the truck. We don't have to take her so far and head back to camp and cook some breakfast and get a warm cup of coffee. You know, just like today, we went out, we harvested a doe, we come in, had fresh backstrap for breakfast, sat around and had the camaraderie around camp. And
we don't eat Wheaties for breakfast here.
but if you got mossy oak on, using the right equipment, be tender and just melt. I mean, you can take your teeth out and eat it with a spoon.
It's all part of it right here. Why we do what we do, isn't it?
Why we do what we do. Time to eat, boys.
Man, got time. I'm ready for this.
It would be. What do you think?
I think it'll eat. John, ready to get cold, Bubba.
Okay, neat, man.
We don't need you cranky again. We know how you get, man.
Laughed and told stories over the past week hunting. It was just a great time.
Section 1, question 7.
What defines a trophy for you?
Simple. An old 6, 7, 8-year-old, just an old gray ghost, and the antler size is irrelevant.
Fred Law, Enon Plantation.
If I can outsmart an old deer that's been outsmarting me and other hunters on his home turf, I don't care how big his antlers are. Just that old gnarly ghost, that's a trophy.
Section 1, question 7.
What defines a trophy for you?
You know, a trophy is really in the eyes of the beholder.
Kevin Burleson, Heart of Texas Bow Hunting.
Personally, I think a trophy is truly made up of the hunt. Probably the biggest trophy on my wall is a mid-130s class buck that I didn't even take, my wife took. I was with her filming when she did it, and you know, it was one of the most memorable moments that we'll ever can imagine. So, you know, a true trophy, I think, is in the eye of the beholder. You know, everybody is going to see a trophy differently.
Tell you what, it's a windy son of a gun tonight. odds are kind of against us, but my motto is they're gonna be way against me if I'm sitting in camp. So, got some good deer on trail cam pics. Just gotta hang out, see what happens. There's one coming out right now.
You know, over the years, I guess you could say that bow hunting has become easier to me, and there's a lot of things that factor into that. Trail cameras, things of that matter, the better optics to get farther away and do scouting. Yeah, those are key tools and key elements into making it easier, but I guess the thing that's probably made it the easiest is experience.
Two big shooters right there, right there. Those are shooters right there.
Doing it for so long and watching these deer year after year, they're using the same draws, the same pinch points. A lot of my stand setups are the same from year to year. The bucks change, but the deer locations are pretty well the same.
He's behind that tree. He's straight behind that tree, I can see. And he's walking straight. He's walking straight away. Can't shoot for that tree. There's the other one. They're going on up to that field. Right behind that tree. There they go, right up. They're walking right up that hill. That's what keeps you coming back.